Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for everybody. These are the general energies, trends and themes that we're likely to be experiencing over the course of the week ahead. These are all under the guidance of my intuitive message. So before I start these readings, I will go into my intuition and I will ask for a message. What is it that we need to know for this week ahead? So with that said, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, when I went into my intuition, the message that I got was this is the changing of the guard, right? So whatever that means to you this week, and it's obviously got something to do with the fact that we've got an eclipse this week. Don't worry, I will be talking about the eclipses, just not here because there's a whole lot that I have to say about those, and obviously I'll be doing the breakdown for what is going to be a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus over the course of this week. Now, that being said, the message that I got for this week was this is the changing of the guard, right? So I don't know if you've ever been here, for any of you that have ever been in the UK or if you live in the UK, you know that outside the Queen's Palace there's a thing that's like a whole, it's not a festival, but it's like, it's a tradition. So you've got this thing called the changing of the guard. This week, I actually feel like this is happening for a lot of us on the mental, physical and emotional and even spiritual planes. So something is shifting this week, and it's not just because of the eclipse, because this is happening on much deeper levels, but it's also happening externally for a lot of us as well. And then finally, the second part of that was this is about new spirit teams. So forgive me because I'm about to go off the deep end and get a little woo-woo with you, but for those of you that are my ride or dies, I know you're here for it. So what I felt about this was this is a point at, we can all agree, right? Over the last sort of two and a half years, we've all been through absolute yeah, it's been right. But what really struck me was there was the feeling that I get from this is, and this isn't to say that it's all going to be rainbows and, you know, hopefully it won't be Deadpool riding a unicorn, but you never know. All jokes aside, it's not going to be all light and fluffy and it's all going to be wonderful from here, but this does definitely mark a point where we are going to see the balance of things start to shift. We're starting to see now, this is going to be the fading out or the removing or releasing of the dark in order to welcome in the light. There's something about this week that really does feel like it's a changing of the guard, and it's not like a battle of any shape, way, shape or form. It's just that there is stuff going on in the spiritual realm where we are shifting from one energy or dimension of consciousness into another. So this is going to be a very powerful week. It's really strange. Like, as I'm filming this, I woke up this morning to I'm not going to talk about it because it's deeply personal, but I woke up to a very profound experience this morning that I have literally, and I've had some really crazy stuff happen, but this morning's was definitely one for the books because it's never happened to me before. And so I kind of feel like this might be tied into it, and this is obviously what my intuition is picking up. I was speaking to a friend just this morning as well on Instagram. Heather Angel, if you're out there, shout out to you, babe. And we were talking about various different things, and I said to her, I've got this really weird intuitive feeling at the moment in my chest, and it feels like something really good is about to happen. So I'm just waiting for that to kind of manifest. But that, you know, I'm digressing, but I kind of feel like all of this is into it. So at the moment we're shifting out of that dark phase and into the light. I'm not saying that, you know, now everybody's going to be singing Kumbaya and it's all going to be wonderful. What I'm saying is this is an initiation point. This whole week is definitely an initiation point in towards something that is going to be lighter and brighter for all of us. But it, you know, obviously it's going to take time to settle in and implement. And with that, you know, with any form of change, you get uncomfort and discomfort. So take it to mean that. And then the other part of this was because I could literally see almost like beings going out, but they weren't being pushed or shoved or whatever. They were just, it was kind of like a mural, right? So you could see like the darker energies were just floating away, and then the lighter ones were coming in. So this whole idea of a changing of the guard, for those of you that are spiritual psychics, mediums, those of you that work on those planes, that are aware of guides and other spirits, etc., you probably will have felt this as well. Like there's a shift in the energy, there's a shift in the air, and it's like there's new spirit teams coming in now. So don't be scared, don't be afraid if you're noticing that loved ones are showing up more often in dreams, or you know, you wake up and your grandma stood at the foot of the bed but she happened to pass over 5 years ago. There's a lot of this taking place at the moment, and I really feel this week is heightening that whole energy. So I don't know why, I've got this really feeling that there's like a crossover of dimensions at the moment. Now, you know, they say that the period in between eclipses is a portal of sorts anyway. Well, we finished this week on the 1st of May, so we're already going to be in it at that point, but I'll be talking about a lot more of this when we get to it. So thank you for humoring me. For those of you that are kind of a bit like, what the hell is he talking about? I'm about to get into the reading. All right, so for our destiny card for the week ahead, I'm going to use the Human Design Oracle deck by Denise Matthew. She's got an amazing channel called Human Design with Denise Matthew. She's on YouTube, so check her out. You will have seen my collaborations with her as well. She designed this deck and it's really wonderful. And the card for the week's destiny is the Gate 5 and Patience. The message behind this card, right, is a very, very interesting one. And so what happens with this is that you see the frog sitting on the lily, and they collect flies with that, you know, thing that they've got going on. And so the message behind this patience is it sits and it waits, and it will do so because it knows that there will always be another meal. Whether you've been struggling financially, whether you've been struggling emotionally, whether you can't find that relationship, whether you can't lose the weight, whatever it is that you might be working on or towards, that for the moment you've kind of been feeling like, you know what, I'm at a dead end with this. There's nothing happening, there's nothing going on. You can feel that frustration starting to build. Activate your center of patience. This is the moment to stand still and allow things to come to you, right? The frog doesn't dart around here, there, and everywhere. It just sits and waits. When the next insect or whatever comes, done, right? This is about precision through patience. This is about waiting for the right moment. And if you're feeling that itch to get something going, just start now. It has to be this very moment. The chances are you're not acting from that place of stillness. Slow yourself down. Take a moment, decide what it is that you want, and then magnetize that to you. Speaking of magnetizing things, I am working on something in the vein of manifestation, which I think you guys are absolutely going to love. So stay peeled, stay tuned for that, because there is something wonderful coming that I've worked really hard on for all of you guys. And I really hope that you love it as much as I have loved it into being. And I can assure you, it really has been a labor of love. There's been so many moments where I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't happening, and then it's like, oh, this is wonderful. So it's kind of been this this wonderful process of unfoldment. So stay tuned for that. Now, for our direction cards, so as you can probably see, I'm using a light deck and a dark deck, and they are kind of, you know, mirror images of each other in a sense. It's kind of, and there is a reason for that, right? Remember what I said about this changing of the guard. There is a shift coming this week, and so I wanted to mirror that in the cards as well. So our direction, how do we tap into that patience card? We've got the 3 of Cups. This is about enjoying the process. I was literally just talking about that for myself as well. It's about enjoying the process, but more importantly, this card can represent friendships and reunions. So this is about really taking time to cultivate. Last week I talked about building your tribe. This week I'm talking about connecting to your tribe, right? Spending time in that space where you're connected to people that have the same vibe as you. And more importantly, exercising the patience that you need in order to be in those good vibes. Then we've got the Page of Pentacles, right? I mean, if we were talking about loving something into being, this would literally be it. This, I would say this week, one of the best ways for you to activate this patience is by connecting to the people that are in your group. And if you don't have one, like I said, find a way to build one. If you can't do that, then start looking in earnest. Stop expecting a group of people fully formed that are already doing all the things that you love to just drop into your lap. Get out into the world and go to the places that you want to be in order to see whether they are there. All right. So as an example, if you are a bit like me and you're all into, you know, all of the woo-woo and stuff, go to those spaces, go to a sacred site at a full moon and see who shows up. You know, like sometimes you have to be a more active participant in the things that you say you want in your life. And then we have the Seven of Cups. So don't lose yourself in just all of this, like, oh, it's the changing of the guard, the light is coming in, everything's going to be wonderful. Because you've got the Seven of Cups, which can be about illusory tendencies. And sometimes it's where we deceive ourselves. So the thing that you're really being asked this week is two things, right? One, for some of you, this is a question about whether mixing business and pleasure is a wise move. Definitely something to consider. It's also where you need to consider if something if something hasn't shaped up the way that you want it to be, maybe this is the time to start thinking about phasing it out. Now, outside of that, the Seven of Cups is a card where when this shows up, I usually tell people to streamline whatever it is that they're working on or doing. So this is really about letting go of this idea that things should just happen, that they should just pop out of the blue, and that you don't have to be an active participant. You really, really do. You know, the universe will do its 50% 100% of the time. You're expected to do your bit 100% of the time, and when the two connect, that's when the magic happens, right? So for our insight cards, what may be coming in, going on that we might not yet be aware of but need to know? And yeah, that feels good. All right, so we've got the Ace of Wands. All right, so new ideas and creativity are coming to light. The other thing with the Ace of Wands, this is a card of action. It's a card of doing. Then we have the Six of Wands. Ooh, I said it felt good and it feels good. This is about victory and success, but it's also about true acquisition of personal power in a specific moment, at a specific moment, at the point of reference that you will always have access to right now. What actions can you take right now? And the thing with the Six of Wands as well, when people see this and they're like, yeah, victory and success. Yes, it's all of those things, but sometimes it's literally the things that you do on the day-to-day basis and how those have a huge impact on the larger scheme, on the larger whole. And then finally, we've got this with the Two of Pentacles. In order to secure your stability, in order for you to manifest your desires, you have to act right now. So that being said, this all falls under the patience card. I know somebody out there was like, well, you told us to sit still and have some patience. Yes, absolutely. But when the opportunity arises and you release what needs to be released, or you connect with what needs to be connected with and who, and then release, you know, what it is that you're needing to, this is the moment at which whatever opportunities are there, it's kind of like once the tower has fallen, right? If you've been with me long enough, you'll have heard me say this. Once the tower falls, the dust settles and we clear out the rubble, whatever or whoever is left in our lives can be trusted. Anything or anyone that survives the tower moment in our lives can be trusted, is meant to be there because it survived the fact that everything else has been blown to smithereens, right? This tells me that whatever opportunities are left at the end of this week, those are the ones that you pursue. That is where the solid path lies for you. And more importantly, that is you exercising the patience. Let it all flow, and then, or rather let it all go and then let it all flow. This is a powerful week for all of us. I very much believe that. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments, how are you feeling this? How are you experiencing this? Take care, and I'll see you soon.